EU Valorant team Vodafone Giants has been handed a one-map loss by Riot for exploiting a bug in their recent Valorant Champions Tour match. Now, this isn't the first time that pros have been accused of exploiting a bug, and just like last time, Riot has now finally punished them. For the victims of this bug exploit though, their loss still stands, and they feel that Riot and the tournament organisers could have done a lot more. Bugs, cheaters, scammers, fakes, and frauds. We cover all that good stuff here on Don't At Me. You did manage to catch this particular video, but to make sure you never miss one in the future, make sure you are subscribed to theScore Esports. It's a decision you will not regret. So on July 6th, Riot released a statement addressing the exploitation of a bug in a recent VCT Challengers match by Vodafone Giants. They said after their match against Team Bref in the VCT Challengers EU Stage 3 Week 1 qualifier, tournament officials were made aware of the exploit and after further investigation confirmed its use. Intentional use of an in-game bug to seek an advantage is explicitly prohibited. All teams are expected to uphold the standards of competitive integrity outlined in the Valorant Global Competition Policy. The bug in question revolves around Cypher's spy cam. It allows Cypher to see a site on Breeze without the attackers being able to see the cam unless they push further into the site. According to Riot, Vodafone Giants exploited this bug in their 2-1 victory over Team Bref in the VCT Stage 3 EU Open qualifiers. Members of Team Bref took to Twitter and Reddit almost immediately after the game to call out the exploit. One of the players, Dawn, made a Reddit post where he provided footage to demonstrate the actual bug. You can clearly see that from this spot, a player can't see the cam on top of the awning, but when we switch to the cam's view, the player is clearly visible. This obviously provides a huge advantage to a Cypher that's defending a site. They can see who's coming without the cam being seen itself. Dawn then shared some footage which allegedly shows Giants using this bug to their advantage in the VCT game.
Son protagonistas y ahí está, hemos escuchado una share y por lo tanto podemos dar por hecho que esto va a ser una ronda económica y que va a ser así.
In his Reddit post, Dawn said that Giants exploited the bug a minimum of 6 times out of 12 rounds on the map. Not only could they see any attackers coming into A site from that angle, they could also know if they weren't attacking A site. That knowledge is incredibly valuable. I spoke to Dawn to find out more. He told me that the bug exploiting meant that they weren't able to even follow their game plan.
So our game plan was totally useless because of this. So they were aware of everything. So in game, I was like, why is nothing working? Why do they know every time that we're not on A or anything? The game passes and on the last map we're just, we're a bit unfocused because the best shot we had was on Breeze because the map was new.
Although Dawn was confused and a little bit skeptical of the result, it wasn't until after the game that he realised they'd been victims of a bug exploit. BDS Logan, a player from another team, reached out to Dawn after the game and told him that he knew about this bug and suspected that Vodafone Giants had been using it. It was then that Dawn reached out to Jorg Jakob, a manager for the VCT tournament organisers Freaks for You Gaming. Jakob said they were investigating, but that any use of the camera will not change the result of the match. When Dawn pushed him for more, Jakob said, quote, "Because of the procedure of how bug using is handled, in the first step a team gets informed that they are using a bug and get warned without any impact to their result. Until now, the camera is allowed since it's not listed as a bug at all. Like I said, we are in the investigation and until we finish it with Riot, this is not forbidden." For Dawn though, this answer just wasn't good enough.
When the admin told me this, I instantly replied, but bro, the map was just released, so obviously this cam is new to everyone, So in my opinion, they even if they don't have that much power, they should at least pause the match and talk to Riot, and not give the win to Giant anyway.
Dawn has a point here. Up until now, Riot's policy has been to investigate and deal with the issue after the game. Now, this isn't the first time that something like this has happened either. Back in November 2020, Guild Esports were handed a forfeit loss from Riot for using an exploit. In their qualifiers match versus G2, Guild were accused of using an illegal boost with a Sage Wall on a Sense B site. Riot released a statement the following day in which they explained that Guild were being handed a forfeit loss but would be eligible to play in qualifiers the next week. It was a pretty contentious decision at the time. In other games like CSGO, plays like the infamous Olaf boost have gone down in history more as iconic moments, despite the similarity between the cases. What's more, this is almost certainly not the last time we're going to be dealing with bugs like these prior to or even during major Valorant tournaments. So far in Valorant, we've seen undetectable Cypher cams hidden behind boxes and even in that frog's mouth on Split, not to mention Omen teleporting out of the map and Cypher breaking Sage Walls with his camera. And don't even get me started on how buggy Sky's cabbages are. The point is, the game has a lot of complicated shit going on and has the potential to keep happening while they're tuning the game and making new maps. So although we do have an example of Riot dealing with Valorant bugs fairly quickly, that wasn't the case with this latest Cypher cam bug. It took Riot 8 days to investigate and publish their report. They said Team Vodafone Giants will receive a one-map loss applied to their next official Valorant Champions Tour match due to violating rules regarding competitive integrity and use of in-game exploits. The rule in question was Rule 7.2.6, exploiting, which Riot also included in their statement. Intentionally using any in-game bug to seek an advantage is exploiting and is prohibited. Exploiting includes acts such as making use of any game function that, in the tournament operator's sole judgment, is not functioning as intended and violates the design purpose of Valorant. Team members may confidentially check with the referee at the beginning of a competition to determine if a specific act would be considered exploiting. Riot reserves the right to make an ex post facto determination of whether an exploit has occurred. Now, according to Dawn, players had notified Riot about this bug on their new map, but they clearly didn't act on it before this game. So let's talk about the punishment now. In Dawn's Reddit post, he was calling for a rematch or even disqualification for Vodafone Giants. When I spoke to him on the day of Riot's ruling, he elaborated on those thoughts.
I think really this punishment isn't really a punishment. It's everyone is losing. Giants is losing because they bench 2 players, and they will have 2 new players that have nothing related to this that will get punished because of this. And our team is not like, we don't have any benefits for this. In my opinion, it's just they just acted to say like, hey guys, hello, we reacted. It's either you act the very day when it happened, or either you don't do anything at all.
And this really gets to the heart of Dawn's frustration here, that the tournament organisers didn't take any action during the game. And that's fair enough if we talk about one match, but what about the game at large here? If Riot does identify a problem with an agent, it's a difficult decision about whether or not to disable the agent or a specific part of their kit, such as Cypher's cameras. And there will be new maps in the future like Breeze where bugs don't get fully exposed until the pros play on them. This problem isn't entirely avoidable. It's tricky. So what's the solution here? Well, for Dawn, it isn't that Riot has to make the right decision immediately with 100% accuracy, it's that they need to make a decision. Any decision a lot quicker.
We just need the admins to take actions the very day. We need the admins to talk to us, at least respond. They just have to respond quicker. Like they have to take position. Even if it's a bad decision, you have to take one at least.
For Dawn and Team Breath, Riot's ruling won't bring back their loss in the qualifiers, which does still stand. So, will we see more of this in the future? Or will Riot act on bug abusers quicker, perhaps even reversing game results as Valorant continues to grow? There was a pop song in I think the early 2000s in the UK, and then people just revived that, and then when Gareth Southgate became the new England manager, people just, well, England fans did what England fans do best and just made a song. Sing it! Looking back to where we first met, I cannot escape, but I cannot forget. Southgate, you're the one, you still turn me on. Football's coming over again.